feels smooth, almost waxy. A satisfying thickness speaks of resilience. Look closer. Faint, elegant ribs branch from the central vein. Deep, luxurious green, almost black in shadow. A glossy sheen catches the light. A plant of substance. A quiet architectural presence. But too often it is merely surviving, not thriving. A new leaf unfurls. An older leaf yellowing and dropping. It stands still for months. A living statue. This guide promises to change that narrative. We will explore the fundamental pillars of care. Not complex formulas, not rigid schedules. Instead, learn to observe your plant's simple, direct language. Decode light. What bright, indirect means in your home. Master watering. One foolproof technique. Understand the world beneath. The soil. Understand the world beneath. The roots. Grooming. Styling. Creating new plants from your parent ficus. The goal? Empower you with confidence. Caring should not be stress. It should be meditative. The most common phrase in plant care is also the most misunderstood. Bright, indirect light. What does this actually mean? Let's demystify it. Think of light as your plant's food. Direct sun is like a fire hose of energy. Too harsh, too concentrated. It will scorch the leaves, leaving behind brown, crispy patches. No light, on the other hand, is starvation. Bright, indirect light is the perfect, nourishing meal. It is the ample, gentle ambient light that fills a room for most of the day. Strong enough to cast a soft, fuzzy shadow, but not so strong that you see a sharp, defined outline of your hand on the wall. This is the light that fuels photosynthesis, allowing your plant to create the energy it needs for robust growth. So, how do you find this sweet spot in your home? Stand in the location you have in mind for your plant, a few feet away from an east-facing window with soft morning sun. Near a south-facing window, pulled back from direct rays. Near a west-facing window, pulled back from direct rays. Use a sheer curtain to diffuse harsh sunlight. Give your plant the widest possible view of the sky without the sun's direct path. Observe the light throughout the day. Make sure it stays bright, but not a hot seat. Your plant will tell you if its lighting is wrong. If the light is too low, ficus will start to lean toward the window. New leaves become smaller than older ones. Internodes stretch. Spacing between leaves gets long. Plants are phototropic, meaning they grow towards their light source. In nature, the sun moves across the sky, providing light from many angles. Indoors, the light source, your window, is fixed. This is why a rubber plant, if left in one position for too long, will begin to develop a permanent lean. All of its leaves will start to face the window, and the back of the plant, which receives less light, may become sparse or even drop leaves. This uneven growth not only looks unbalanced, but also means only one side of the plant is photosynthesizing efficiently. To encourage straight, symmetrical growth and ensure all leaves get their turn in the sun, you must practice the simple art of rotation. Imagine a week-long example. On Monday, you notice your plant is perfectly upright. By Wednesday, you might see a very subtle tilt of the newest leaves toward the window. By Friday, the upper part of the stem itself may have started to curve slightly. This is your cue to act. Don't wait for a dramatic 45-degree lean. The best practice is to make rotation a small, consistent habit. Every time you check your plant for water, give it a simple quarter turn. If your pot was facing north, turn it to face east. The next week, turn it to face south, and so on. This small action ensures that every part of the plant receives light over time. This slow, weekly dance does more than just promote an aesthetically pleasing, upright form. It promotes the overall health of the plant. When all leaves are exposed to adequate light, the entire plant can produce energy more effectively. This leads to bigger leaves, stronger stems, and a more robust root system. A plant that is constantly leaning and stretching is under stress. It is spending its energy reserves trying to correct its position, rather than on producing new, healthy growth. More indoor plants are killed by overwatering than by any other cause. The fear of underwatering leads many owners to give small, frequent sips, keeping soil perpetually damp. This is the single greatest mistake you can make. Let's clarify our terms. Wet soil is saturated like a sponge pulled from a bucket. Damp soil feels like a well-wrung-out sponge, moist, but not dripping. Keeping the top layer constantly damp means the lower layers where the roots never get a chance to dry out. This suffocates roots, cutting off their oxygen and creates the perfect environment for root rot. The solution is a simple two-step method: drench and drought. First, learn to check if your plant is actually thirsty. Do not water on a schedule. Use the finger test. Insert your index finger deep into the soil, 2 to 3 inches. Don't just test the surface. You need to know the root zone. If the soil feels cool and moist, do not water. If soil sticks to your finger, do not water. It means there's still moisture for the roots. Wait. Check again in a few days. Only water when your finger comes out clean and the soil is dry 2 or more inches down. When the test says it's time, drench the soil completely. Take the plant to a sink or bathtub. The soil your rubber plant lives in is more than just dirt. It is a complex environment that must provide a delicate balance of water retention, drainage, aeration. Aeration simply means the presence of small air pockets within the soil. Plant roots need oxygen to survive and function, just as much as they need water. When soil becomes too compacted or dense, these air pockets collapse. Water fills every available space, pushing out the oxygen and effectively suffocating the roots. This is why the texture of your potting mix is so critically important. Standard potting soil, straight from the bag, is often too dense and retains too much moisture for a ficus. For years, people added a drainage layer of gravel or rocks to the pot. That's a persistent myth that actually harms your plant. Water won't drain easily from fine soil into coarse gravel. Instead, it perches just above the gravel, creating a swampy zone where the roots sit. That raises the internal water table and increases root rot risk. The best solution isn't rocks. It's a well-aerated soil mix throughout the pot, plus adequate drainage holes. So how do you make airy soil? Amend standard indoor potting mix with structure-building ingredients. The 2 best options are perlite, orchid bark. Repotting can feel like a daunting task, but it's a necessary part of your plant's long-term health. As a ficus grows, its root system expands to support new foliage. Eventually, the roots will fill the entire pot. Root-bound. Root-bound plants struggle to absorb water and nutrients because there's more root than soil. You can spot the signs without unpotting. Growth may stall completely. The plant may dry out extremely quickly and need water far more often. Roots pushing out of drainage holes, or roots circling on the soil surface. These are clear signals your plant needs a bigger home. Rule: move up only 1 pot size at a time, usually just 1 to 2 inches larger in diameter. A giant pot is tempting, but it's a critical mistake. Too much soil holds too much water the roots can't absorb. That wet, unused soil causes root rot. A slightly snug pot is safer. Gently remove the plant from its pot. A healthy root ball shows whitish or light tan roots throughout the soil. Side by side. Healthy white root ball next to a severely root-bound plant with circling roots. If root-bound, you'll see dense, circling roots at the bottom and sides of the pot. Before repotting, gently tease the bottom and side roots with your fingers. That encourages them to grow outwards into the new soil. In our homes, dust inevitably settles on every surface, including the broad leaves of your rubber plant. This layer of grime is more than just an aesthetic issue. It directly impacts your plant's health. The leaves are covered in tiny pores called stomata, which are essential for photosynthesis. They are also essential for respiration. A thick layer of dust can block these pores, reducing the leaf's ability to absorb light and exchange gases with the air. In effect, a dusty plant is a plant that is struggling to breathe and eat. Regularly cleaning the leaves is a simple act of care that can significantly boost your plant's vitality and efficiency. The cleaning process should be gentle. The best tool for the job is a soft, damp cloth, microfiber towel, old t-shirt. Support the leaf from underneath with one hand. Gently wipe the top surface from the stem to the tip with the other. This prevents tearing or creasing. Use lukewarm water only. Avoid commercial leaf shine products. They can clog the pores you're trying to clean. One of the most rewarding aspects of plant ownership is propagation, the process of creating new plants from your existing one. It feels like magic, but it's a simple botanical process rubber plants are well suited for. Propagating your ficus is a great way to make use of the pieces you prune off during styling, or to create new plants to share with friends. The most reliable method is taking a stem cutting and rooting it in water. It lets you watch the whole process unfold, from a simple stem to a fully rooted plant. First, gather your tools. You will need a pair of sharp, sterile scissors, or a knife. Sterilize your tool with rubbing alcohol to prevent bacteria. Next, identify where to cut. Take a cutting that includes at least one leaf, or 2 leaves, and most importantly, include a node. The node is the small, slightly swollen bump where a leaf grows or used to grow. This is where new roots will emerge. Cut about an inch below the node. A good cutting is typically 4 to 6 inches long. Remove the lowest leaf to expose the node. Place the cutting in a clear glass or jar of room temperature water. Ensure the node is fully submerged. Keep the remaining leaves above the waterline. Put the jar in bright, indirect light. As we conclude our journey, let's distill everything we've learned into 3 core principles, the essential pillars that will support a long and healthy life for your rubber plant. These are not rigid rules, but guiding philosophies built on observation and understanding. They are the foundation upon which all other care practices, pruning, cleaning, propagating, are built. Mastering these 3 simple secrets will transform your relationship with your plant from anxious guesswork to quiet confidence and mutual flourishing. They are the keys to unlocking the magnificent potential held within your without the sun's direct rays. Remember, bright, indirect light is the fuel for all growth. Observe your plant's posture. A gentle lean is a quiet request for more light. Scorched spots are a cry for relief. Rotate your plant regularly, giving every leaf a turn in the sun. The second pillar is to wait to water. Ditch the schedule and embrace the finger test. Water only when the soil is dry several inches deep. When you do water, drench the soil completely and let the excess drain away. This drench and drought method is your single best defense against root rot, the most common killer of indoor plants. The third and final pillar is to feed sparingly. We haven't discussed this at length, but it follows the same less is more philosophy. A plant that is growing well in good light will benefit from a balanced liquid fertilizer, but only during the growing season, spring, summer. Feed it at half strength, maybe once a month. Fertilizing a plant that is not receiving enough light or is struggling will only stress it further. Think of fertilizer as a vitamin supplement, not a meal. Light is the meal. Proper watering is the drink. Fertilizer is just a small boost when the plant is already healthy and actively growing. Above all, cultivate patience and be a mindful observer. Your rubber plant will not transform overnight. Growth is a slow, quiet process. Pay attention to the subtle changes: unfurling of a new, glossy leaf, gentle straightening of a stem after you rotate it, the satisfying weight of the pot after a thorough drenching. These are the small rewards, the quiet conversations you will have with your plant. By providing these simple, consistent conditions, you are not just keeping a plant alive. You are creating a partnership, nurturing a living thing that will grow with you, adding a touch of enduring, natural beauty to your home for many years to come.